Yo, what is up guys, it's your boy Sami here. Today we are gonna see what if Naruto had the power of Phoenix part 2. Hope you will enjoy the video. So before we start, please subscribe to our channel and like this video. So let's begin the video.
The next day at the academy, everyone was sitting in class waiting for Ruka to come in. Each person was doing their own thing. Some were interested in others. Most of the fangirls in class were busy looking at two people, Sasuke and Naruto. Sasuke because he is the last Uchiha, and Naruto because he is a mystery and had the whole baddest swordsman look about himself. It helped the fact that he was a baddest swordsman, but no one actually knew that. Today his look is different than before. Today he had a black pants, and his sword, and a black vest unbuttoned with no shirt underneath, but a blue sash around his waist to cover where the seal was supposed to be. He had a black wrist guard on each hand, and the seals were still on each hand. Think Vaughn from Final Fantasy Shi. Sasuke was looking at Naruto from the corner of his eye every time his fangirls looked away for a second. I would go into his thoughts, but since they are a broken record I will only play them once. I must get stronger to kill him. I am an Avenger, no one is better than him. I bet he is a weak cute ass. Okay, I need to stop there. Sasuke's mental thoughts on Naruto are disturbing after that. Naruto was sitting in the back of the class, and was eyeing each of the rookie 9. They did not know it though. Why do you ask? He had on a pair of black pilot-style sunglasses. If you looked at his eyes all you could see was your reflection, which made his new fan club think he was looking at him. Naruto was mentally evaluating each of his friends. Shikamaru genius, lazy, family style, weak to jutsu. Joji powerhouse, food expert, family, weak. Ino fangirl, family, weak nin, and to jutsu. Nice body, lousy kisser. Bisexual. Shino genius, family, weak to jutsu. Hinata bloodline, low self-esteem, family, weak ninjutsu. Controlling possessive disorder. Want to control all life. Kinky. Kiba heightened sense, family, weak. Soccer fangirl weak nin, and Tajutsu, multiple personality, great medical if trained, sucks in relationships. Killed myself after I kissed her, and saw her naked. Could not even touch her. What the hell did I ever see in her anyways? Sasuke traitor must I. Psycho, weak and Sealess, and other bloodlines. Weak Jinjutsu Sharingan cancels them, so if he has them useless. Naruto sighed, and thought may have dated those three, but never slept with them, thank God. Ino wants a guy who is also bisexual, and is willing to show whole body to get a guy. Hinata wants to chain you up, and control everything. She actually tried to tell me when to go to the bathroom. Sakura, it is actually a good thing she has a big forehead. If anyone would have thought to look they would have seen her on her body. Her breasts never developed, and puberty hit her hard elsewhere. To have it twice a month. No wonder she is always in a bad mood. Mentally if I dated any of them I would kill myself. Anko was right about me getting to know the women I would like to maybe spend my life with. Naruto was brought out of his thoughts by Ino, who had walked over and said hi Amino. Naruto thought of something and said, Ino, even though I just met you I bet you I can tell you almost everything about you. If I can, would you do me one request? Ino was blushing and said anything. Naruto said, you work in a flower shop, love lilacs, like Sasuke, but you also like girls, want to find a guy who would also like girls and guys, and hopes to embarrass your parents by changing your family business into a Icha store. And has the entire collection in your closet under the floorboards. Am I right on most of it? Everyone in the class was looking at them, and Ino was red with embarrassment. Naruto decided to cut her some slack, and said if I am right on at least one thing then I also know things about others like that. So I have a list for you, that you should use to find a true soulmate. My request is that you go down this list, and date all 5 names at least once, and make it a real date. You can't say no to dating them based on age, weight, or looks, and you cannot say the name Sasuke once on them, or compare the date to Sasuke. Deal. I promise you that one of these is your soulmate, holding out a list folded over. Ino looked at it, and then at Naruto, and then the list, and then at Sasuke, and said deal. Grabbing the list. Naruto grabbed her arm, and said remember you have to give each person a real chance. I will know if you don't, and since I can guarantee I will be on a team with Sasuke, I will tell him to you if you break your word. If you really like him then you don't want him thinking you're a liar. And release her, making her walk over, and sit down. Shikamaru said, that was troublesome. You set her in a perfect trap, and never met her before. I bet you even set her up with the biggest losers there are. It's so troublesome. Ino looked over, and said in a stuttering voice to Shikamaru, I was wondering, would you go with me tonight on a date? Shikamaru's eyes got as big as a silver dollar, and then returned to being lazy, and he looked at Naruto, and said I would hate you, but it is too troublesome to actually think of getting revenge. Yes Ino, I will pick you up as 6. Sakura had her mouth hanging open, and said take that Inapig, love conquers all. A vein appeared on Naruto's head, and said quit trying to make yourself look good, Sakura. Inner Sakura will hound you if you don't have a date later. Ino looked at Naruto wondering what he meant. Sakura was pale, and sat down leaving everyone to wonder what he was talking about. Naruto sighed, and said hey Kiba, do me a favor. Kiba looked at him, and said why should I do you a favor? How do you know our names, and so much about Ino? Naruto said simple actually, I heard all of your names yesterday during the testing. I know so much about Ino because I heard about her family business in town. As for anything else I know about her that may or may be true, if I can read people like a book. As for why you should do me a favor, I will owe you one later. After all, the only thing I was going to ask you to do, was deliver a scroll to your team sensei. I was told to give it to her on my way here, but I was too busy. Shikamaru said, how do you know what teams we are going to be on, and who our senses are? Naruto said information gathering is important for a ninja, but truthfully, I saw the list earlier when I was at the Hokage's office finalizing my ninja status, and getting my picture taken for the records. Shikamaru said troublesome. I thought I was the only one who saw that list. Kiba said fine, I will deliver this scroll for you. Who was it anyway? Naruto said all I remember about the guy was his last name started with a K. He said it was an apology for something, and he did not know if he would get a chance to tell her face to face, and did not want to have hard feelings if he did not see her again. Kiba said alright. I want to call in that favor now anyways. Naruto said alright. Kiba said, since we know nothing about you, tell us about yourself. Naruto said fair enough. My name is Naruto, I am the same age as all of you, I am the seal master, and have lived, and trained on the outside of Konoha, since I was 5 years old. I am engaged to one woman, though I have not met her yet, and I am one of the last of my clan. Shikamaru said I never heard of a clan called Uzumaki before. Naruto said that is not my real name. It was changed to protect me until I was strong enough to claim my real name. I will not tell you what it is now, but I will tell you it is one of the founding clans of Konoha. Well here so let's meet our teams. Favors filled Kiba, thanks. And leaned back propping his feet up on the desk, and waited. Iruka walked in, and said okay, I want to congratulate all of you. Naruto raised his hand, and Iruka said yes, what is Naruto? Naruto said, where is Mizuki-sensei? I was sure he would be here today. Iruka said Mizuki is no longer with us. He was caught breaking into the Hokage's office last night. Apparently he was going to defect from the village. Naruto smirked to himself at that. Iruka sighed, and said, as I was saying, the life of a ninja is not an easy one. You will face many trials, and some of you may not be ready for what is to come. Anyways, good luck. The teams are, as follows. Team 7 Sasuke, Sakura, and Sakura jumped up to say something, but were stopped. Naruto said Sakura should stop insulting others. We need to work on our teamwork. Sakura shot him a glare, and said I bet we are not even on the same team. Naruto said Team 7 Sasuke, Sakura, and me under Sharingan Kakashi, Team 8 is Kiba, Shino, and Hinata under Genjutsu Mistress Kurenai, Team 10 is Ino, Shikamaru, and Choji under Knight of the Fire Lord Asuma. Am I right, Iruka-sensei? Iruka looked at the list, and said yes, but how? Naruto said like I told everyone earlier, I saw the list when I was getting my ninja status finalized, and had my picture taken. Iruka said yes, well I may not like the fact that Naruto and Sakura interrupted me, but Naruto did finish my duties for me, and also Sakura, I would have to say he also had a good point. You do need teamwork, so don't insult others who might be on your team. Well, one last time I would like to say good luck. Your senses will be here shortly. Iruka turned to leave, but Naruto yelled at Iruka. I have something for you. And tossed a scroll which Iruka caught, and he said what is it? Naruto said I noticed when I was walking through the village last night, that you had a bunch of paperwork needing to be filled out. That helps with paperwork. It has other things it can do, but read the whole description, and you will understand. Iruka nodded, and opened it, and read it with a big smile on his face, and said that will save me a lot of time on paperwork. Thanks Naruto. Where did you learn it? Naruto said I got it from one of my father's scrolls he left me, and though it takes a lot of chakra it will at least cut your paperwork time in half. Leaf ninja have to look out for one another. Right. If we did not then we would be no better than monsters, and demons. After all, being kind is part of being human. Iruka paled for a second then smiled, and said I was right Naruto, you are a good person. Thanks. And walked out the room. Sasuke said what did you give him? Dobe. Naruto said I am not a dobe, I am equal in status, as you, and anyone else in this room. We are all Leaf Ninja now. All equal in ranks, as genin. It does not matter what clan we are or who we are related to or what our last name is. In both battle and everyday life we need to look out for each other. We have been family since. As for what that is, it's Kage Bunshin. Shikamaru said you do know that's a technique right? Naruto said yes I know, but it's only that because of the chakra you need to use it. If you use it unwisely it could kill you. However, just making one or two, and not using it in battle, should be safe for A, and each time he uses it will make it easier the next time. Sasuke said I don't need help. I am stronger than all of you anyways. Naruto said then if me and anyone in this room got together you could defeat us. Sasuke said easily. Naruto said, who do you think is the weakest person here, Sasuke? Sasuke said probably you. Naruto said pick someone to team up with me, and I bet we could be you in less than a minute. Sasuke smirked, and said Choji. Naruto smirked, and said who has a watch? Kiba said I do. Naruto said you time us, and tell us to begin. Choji came here. Choji got up and came to Naruto, and Naruto said, relax, we can beat him easily with teamwork. I want you to take him and charge him. Don't worry about hitting him or anything. I will do the rest. Teamwork is the key to victory. Choji just nodded and looked at Kiba and said ready. Naruto also just shook his head, and Sasuke got into a fighting stance and said bring it. Kiba said begin. And Choji pulled out a kunai and charged Sasuke. Sasuke smirked and started to form hand seals only for something to grab his leg. He tried to move but could not and had to pull out a kunai to block Choji's strike. He was still not able to move his legs or see what was holding him while defending himself. Suddenly he felt it on his neck. Naruto said time. Kiba looked at the watch and said 29 seconds. Naruto said good job Choji. Teamwork can almost always stop a single enemy. And started to walk toward his seat. Sasuke looked down and did not see anything holding him and said how did you hold me in place? Naruto said I had a cage bunch and hold you, and since you could not stop defending against Choji to look and destroy the cage bunch, I simply walked around you and applied the finish to end the match. Sakura said you used ninjutsu to beat him. That's cheating. Naruto said we are ninja Sakura, we use everything we can to win. As for using ninjutsu, what do you think the hand seals he was doing would have been? An enemy will not always allow you to form hand seals, so you have to know other things to win. If you notice I never used a hand sign. It's not because it's a sealess. It's because I have mastered it to a point where I don't need the seals. Look underneath Sakura. If that would have been an actual battle, Sasuke would be dead, and we would have cut his eyes out and sold them to another village. Everyone was stunned, and Sakura said you would do that. Naruto said if I was an enemy then yes. You can ask Hinata up there about it. The Cloud Village already tried to do that when she was 4 years old. An enemy does not care who you are, or where you were in the class, whether you are the rookie of the year or the dead last. All they care about is killing you and completing their mission to get paid. All of our lives are worth how much someone is willing to pay to kill us. Remember that. And he sat down. Clapping could be heard, and everyone turned and saw a woman with red eyes and a man smoking a cigarette, and the man said he's right about everything he said. My name is Asuma, and this is Kurenai. Team 8 and 10 come on. And he started to leave. Both teams got up to leave, and Naruto said to Kiba, don't forget the favor. Kiba said I won't, but we are going to have to spar sometime. Naruto said sure. Good luck. As they walked out. Finally it was only Team 7. Naruto sighed and created 10 cage bunshin and had them start running up and down the walls. Sakura and Sasuke saw this and were in awe. Sakura said why and how are you doing that Naruto? Naruto said anything a Kagebunshin learns is the same as the original when dispelled. Kakashi is always late, so I decided to do some chakra control exercises. This one is based on tree climbing. Sasuke said, everyone knows how to climb trees. Sakura said I already have perfect chakra control. Naruto threw 2 kunas into the wall and walked up the wall and walked around the 2 kunas and started standing on them with his index finger while he was doing push-ups with his legs in an Indian style upside down. The 2 sweat dropped as he did this with his eyes closed. Sasuke began breathing and Sakura tried to get him to give her a date. He ignored her and she would shoot glances at Naruto who was still doing his exercise. Meanwhile Kiba was following his team and Team 10 out of the building when he said Kurenai-sensei. I was asked to give this to you. Holding up the scroll. Everyone stopped, and Kurenai got it, and said what is this Kiba? Kiba said I really don't know myself. Naruto said he was asked to give that to you from someone who had the last name starting with K, and it was an apology or something. He said he saw where teams were divided up, and asked me to deliver it, since he did not think he would be able to. Kurenai shot a look at Asuma who just shrugged his shoulders. Kurenai sighed, and opened the scroll, and when she did a box of chocolates, and 24 jasmines with a blue fox holding a card. Kurenai blushed, and opened the card, and read it. Sensei, I wish to apologize for embarrassing you in the Hokage's office last night. Even though I may have had a life with you before, it is not always the same. Each event in life depicts who and what we are. I may only know you a day of 100s of lifetimes, but I will never know everything about you. I am sorry if I overstepped my bounds, and I hope we can still have a relationship. Whether it is as co-workers, friends or whatever, I will respect your wishes. Sincerely yours Kazama. Kurenai blushed as she read it and smelled the flowers and said Kiba, thank you for delivering this for me, and I will also thank Naruto when I get a chance. We have other things to worry about now. Asuma said to your friend from last night. Kurenai nodded and said yes, I must thank him personally. Asuma nodded and said Anko has yet to figure out where he lives. Kurenai said you heard any explosions yet? Asuma said I take that as a no. Maybe I should talk to him. Kurenai said you will do no such thing. Asuma said, but what about us? Kurenai said right now there is no us. And there is no me, and him either. I am not saying there won't be, but I want to get to know him first. Jealousy doesn't suit you, Asuma. Asuma said he is 8 years younger than him. Kurenai said I am 4 years younger than you, and I am old enough to make a decision about this myself. Besides, age does not really count in his case. Besides, his eyes are my favorite color. Asuma sighed, and said I guess you're right. Just promise me to take it slowly. Kurenai said to Asuma, I did not know you cared. Asuma said women can't live with them, and can't take away from them. Kiba said, who are you both talking about? Asuma is probably the strongest ninja in the village. Ino said the Hokage. Kurenai said no, not him. Anyways, let's get our team meetings out of the way, and get the testing done also. Everyone looked confused, as they broke into individual teams. Back with Team 7 Naruto sneezes. Sakura looked at the clock on the wall, and said how late is this Kakashi going to be? Naruto said how long has it been so far? Still with his eyes closed doing his exercise. Sakura said 2 hours. Why? Naruto said about another hour. Sasuke said how do you know this Kakashi? Naruto said when I found out who was on which teams I learned everything I could about them. Kakashi is quite famous. Sasuke said when did you call him Sharingan Kakashi? Naruto said he has a Sharingan in one of his eyes, and no, he is not an Uchiha. It was implanted after he lost his eye. I don't know how or from who, but he has one. He is said to have copied over 1,000. We could only hope he teaches us some of them. However, Naruto was thinking I would actually be surprised if he knew one that I don't besides Chidori. Sasuke just. Naruto sighed, and said to Sakura, why did you become a ninja? Sakura said for someone who seems to know everything, you don't know that. Naruto said I'm sorry, I was trying to be friendly, and a teammate. You became a ninja to impress Sasuke, and defeat your rival Ino who was going to be a ninja. You are the first female in your family to ever be a ninja, and you believe that Sasuke will save you from any enemies that attack us. Answer me this, Sakura. We get attacked by 20 enemies. I am fighting 5 ninjas, Kakashi is fighting 5 ninjas, Sasuke is fighting 5 ninjas who are at least or higher in rank. Who is going to fight the last 5 enemies? Sakura said that won't happen until we get stronger, so I don't have to worry about that. Naruto said in the past 10 years over 60 have died thinking the same thing as Sakura. Are you sure you want to bet your life on that belief, or would you rather take the time to actually try and improve your skills? You might even be able to show Sasuke you are stronger than he thinks you are, and then he might date you. Not showing any emotions though he hated using a girl's lust for the traitor. Sakura sat quietly thinking about what Naruto had just said. Naruto was quiet for a moment, and said what the hell? And jumped off the wall landing on his feet and looking at the door. Both Sasuke and Sakura looked at him, and Sakura said what? Naruto said he's early. And just then the door opened, and Kakashi walked in. Naruto said you're not late. Kakashi smiled, and Sakura said yes he is. He's 2 hours late. Naruto looked at her, and said never mind. So what are your first impressions of us? Walking to the wall taking out the 2 kunis. Kakashi smiled, and said my first impression is, I hate you. Smiling behind his mask. Kakashi said meet on the roof. And disappeared in a swirl of leaves. Naruto disappeared in a swirl of flames leaving Sasuke and Sakura confused. When Naruto got up there he said what's the deal, Kakashi? You're never early unless someone threatens you. Kakashi said leave a Kage Bunshin and go see the Hokage. Naruto nodded and created one and left for the Hokage office. When Naruto arrived in a swirl of flames in the Hokage office, the sight that created him was not what he expected. No, far from it. Naruto looked at the people there and said pardon the interruption of Hokage-sama, Kazuki-sama. Kakashi-sensei said you needed my presence. The third smiled at the display of respect and said yes Naruto-san, the Kazuki has come today to discuss the arrangements of the alliance. Naruto nodded and said I understand sir, what is it you need from me sir? Bowing at the 2 cages. The Kazuki said I have heard some interesting things about you Naruto-san, but I was not told what I truly wanted to know, so perhaps since the third stated that only you could answer my question, as the current head of your clan, even though you are yet of age you have to distribute the info. Naruto nodded and said I suppose I would be honored to answer what I can without revealing clan secrets. I request that since you obviously have many questions, and it will take time to answers, we drop the formalities of positions for the time being. And since I don't like to repeat myself I also request that your 3 children who are outside in the lobby be allowed to listen and seeing if everything goes, as I believe they will have access to my clan knowledge, as well. The Kazuki looked at Naruto, and said I have no problem with dropping the formality, but I do request how you knew my 3 children were here. Naruto said simply, I have enhanced senses, and can detect the family trait in yourself, and the 3 in the lobby. The Kazuki nodded, and said allow me to get them. And walked outside to the lobby, closing the door. When he was gone Naruto said quick, did you say I requested it or you requested the marriage? The third said I did why? Naruto was about to speak when the door opened, and in walked the Kazuki followed by 2 boys, and a girl. The Kazuki said Hokage-sama, Naruto-san, I would like to introduce my children. My eldest children are Temari, Kankuro, and Gar. Each bowing except Gar. Naruto walked over and said it's a pleasure to meet you all. and kissed Temari's hand, and then shook Kankuro's, and Naruto turned to Gar, and the Kazekage, and Temari, and Kankuro tried to stop him, but Naruto surprised them all, and hugged Gar. Temari said how? Naruto said Shukaku can't hurt me. My bloodline stops the demon inside of him. Turning to look at the Kazekage, and the Sans Sibs. The Kazekage paled, and said how do you know this, and what is your bloodline? Naruto walked to the window, and sat down looking at them, and said perhaps I should tell you my name, and who I really am, so that we can get things off on the right foot. My real name is Naruto Kazama, son of Arashi Kazama. As for what bloodline I have the bloodline of the first Hokage, as I am also one of his descendants. For my own safety I had my real name hidden until I was able to protect myself, which I currently can, but I won't take my real name until the day of my marriage. The name I go by now is Naruto Uzumaki. Kankuro said, that still does not explain how you knew about Gar. Naruto said, quick history lesson boys, and lovely ladies. What was the event of the Yondaime Hokage, my father's death? The Kazekage thought for a moment, and said the Kyuubi attack. Naruto said, based on your own experience from your son, think about what you actually know, and what is public knowledge. The Kazekage thought for a moment, and looked at Naruto who said I believe you understand now. The Kazekage said he sealed it inside you, didn't he? Naruto said correct, but the story does not end there. Because of my family bloodline I was able to absorb it all. I should also tell you whoever did his sealing was an idiot. Gar will die in less than 10 years unless someone fixes his seal. I could do it if you would like. The Kazekage said, how can you claim that his seal is going to kill him in less than 10 years if you did not see it? Naruto said, when I hugged Gar his armor of sand parted at the seal enough for me to see it. Being a seal master myself because of fear from Kyuubi I can make or break seals better than almost anyone in the 5 shinobi countries. Temari said, why should we trust you? Naruto said simply, I know the pain of loneliness having a demon sealed into you because I don't wish that on anyone. If I can make his life better than I have to offer. Especially on the chance we might be family soon. The Kazekage said if you fix his seal, what would happen? Naruto said you have 2 options. He has a simple 3-star seal on it with a berserker seal over it. I can either put another 3-star seal on it, but Gar would still suffer from the mental trauma of Shukaku, and the berserker seal, or I could put on 2 4-star seals which would shut the raccoon up, and allow Gar to sleep. He would still have his ability to use sand, and it could pass down to his children, but he would have to work on his control for about a month, but it might actually be better than it is now to get it back up to speed. Both options have benefits and setbacks. Either he still can't sleep and has his normal control, but be in a state of insanity the longer it goes, or he can sleep and become calmer, but he would have to work on his control. Your choice, but I would do it within the next year, or the seal may degrade to a point where you will eventually have to seal all of his powers or release the demon, and Gar dies. Temari looked at her brother, and then the Kazekage said, what guarantees can you provide that you can do this? Naruto said if I can deliver what I promise I will submit my life to your family. The third, who had remained quiet up to this point, said to Naruto, you can't do that. You're the last of your family bloodline, and Naruto said since the council does not know of the situation yet, then they can't object. The third cursed to himself, as he knew that Naruto had in there. Naruto said I can do the sealing at my home, and all of you can be present. Gar will pass out after the sealing for at least a half a day from being so long without sleep. The Kazekage was quiet for a moment, and said let me consider this, while we discuss the proposal of the wedding. The third said yes. That would be best. The Kazekage said, we were promised in exchange for this that we would receive 10 A rank jutsu, 15 B rank jutsu, and 20 C rank jutsu, as well as a percentage of missions. The third said yes, that is what was agreed on, but the percentage of missions, and the exact details of the wedding, have yet to be decided. The Kazekage said I request 20% of all missions paid for the next 5 years. Naruto said pardon the interruption, but I have a better proposal that would be beneficial to all parties involved. Everyone looked at him, and the Kazekage said proceed then. Naruto said before I give my proposal I would like just an estimated guess to a question answered by your Kazekage. The Kazekage said very well, if I can. Naruto said, what would the average total yearly pay be for the village of Suna for the last 3 years? The Kazekage said that is sensitive information. Naruto said I understand. Allow me to rephrase my question. Is it less than $1.5 million a year? The Kazekage said perhaps more or less. Naruto said fair enough, I respect your secrecy of the info. Here is my offer. I am willing to pay 1.5 million to Suna for the next 5 years out of my own money, plus a total of 10 only, as an agreement. There are some stipulations though I do request. The Kazekage said proceed. Naruto said I request that Temari has the right to decide if she wants this wedding or not, and that she will be visiting Konoha 1 week a month, until the Chunin exams to allow her, and myself to get to know each other. For this right I will guarantee the first 1.5 million after the exams. I don't want her to feel I am buying her, and she is a bargaining chip. I can tell already she has a strong spirit, and I wish for her to keep that. The second stipulation is that Suna and Konoha are not to attack each other. I have heard from a source that an enemy of Konoha is planning on trying to break Konoha and another country's alliance. I don't know which countries are involved, but the man who told me is a trusted friend. Since I doubt Suna would do it, then I don't have to worry, but I learned a long time ago to make sure everything is thought of. Since I don't have proof of this, I have not told the Hokage yet. Sorry, Hokage-sama. The Hokage said I understand, but I would like for your source to let me know if he hears any more whether it is concrete or not. Realizing what Naruto was doing, Naruto said very well. If another country comes to you and offers to break an alliance or attack us, we request that you notify us within 10 days, and we will also should the roles be reversed. The Kazekage said that is reasonable. What else? Naruto said since I am the last heir of my clan, when it becomes public knowledge I will have to have more than one wife. Tamari has to realize that in advance if she agrees. Another stipulation is I have received information about a group of S-class missing nin that are after the tailed demons. Any and all information either country gets on them must be shared. I do not know who they all are, but I do know two. Sasori of the Red Sand and Uchiha Itachi. The Kazekage said I have no information on this group, but we would appreciate any info you can provide. Naruto said it will take me a few days, but I can make sure Tamari has it when she returns from her first visit. I do have one bit of info on Sasori that you won't like though. The Kazekage said, what is that? Naruto said, you know how he makes human puppets, right? He has one that makes him very dangerous. Your predecessor. The one who went missing can use the iron sand. The Kazekage said, are you sure of this? Naruto said yes. I saw it about 3 years ago when he used it. Seeing as he is the only person I have ever heard of using iron sand, means it was the Kazekage, and he was a human puppet, and the man with Sasori called him that. The Kazekage said I will let my people know. What else? Naruto said I have not talked this over with the Hokage, but I think if both councils would agree that one team out of every class that passes will be trained by the other village, as a sign of mutual trust. That is all I can think of besides Tamari, and I will be considered a ninja of both villages after the marriage, if she agrees. I do request, since the only people who know I no longer have the demon in me are in this room, and 5 others, you must not tell anyone about it until I announce that. The Kazekage said that is an interesting deal, and I have a few stipulations myself, but I would like to know how you are planning on paying this if we agree. Naruto said I left the village at the age of 5, and traveled, and trained in secret. During my travels I made some business adventures with money I made from odd and end jobs. Without touching my family's money, and doing any missions I receive over $6 million a year in revenue, just from being a silent partner. That got everyone's attention. The Hokage said, what investments? Naruto said I made some money, and bought a jewelry publisher. He does not know it. The third paled, and said you bought that publisher. The Kazekage said, what publisher? The third pulled out a book, and tossed it to the Kazekage, who looked at it, and said, are you shitting me? Naruto said nope. Anyways, do we have a deal? A certain broody Uchiha will probably kill my teammate before I get back, and we just were assigned teams today. Actually never mind, the meeting just ended. Everyone looked at him, and he said I left a Kajubunshin, so I did not miss anything with my team. The Kazekage said, may I have a word with my children in private? Naruto nodded, and said, my offer to fix Gaara's seal is good whether you accept the deal or not. And he walked over to the Hokage. The Hokage said, the room to your right is a private conference room I sometimes use. You can go in there, and talk. The Kazekage nodded, and walked into the room, and his 3 kids followed. When the door closed, the Hokage whispered, what were you thinking, Naruto, telling him so much? Naruto said, when I showed them I could get through Gaara's sand defense without being killed, I scared them. The sand should have killed me, but it did not. As for what I said about the plant, you and I both know it is a lie, and the real reason Kyuubi is gone is a lie. As for the being promised, none of them are leaves, so nobody can say anything about that, and because of the deal Kyuubi taught me, I have more money in dimensional storage than I can ever hope to use. I really do own the publisher, and a few other things, but that is so legitimate all the money I have. I laid a careful trap. If he accepts the deal a few weeks from now, he will either come and tell us about Orochimaru, or he will betray us. Gaara will do anything to shut that damn raccoon up, even kill his father if he gets in the way. I did not give enough info for them to know we know anything, and gave him a way to save his village. It's time to see if he deserves to be caged. The third sighed, and said, I wish you would talk this over with me before you do this. I am a cage after all. Also, what's this about showing them your home? Naruto said, I have built a safe house I can use, and was going to show them it. My real house no one can find unless they know where to look. Just then the door opened, and Asuma walked in along with Kakashi and Kurenai, and a bruised-looking Anko. Naruto looked at her, and said, tried to find my house, huh? Anko said, shut up. I should have known you had traps set up in there to protect your house. The voice from behind the Jounin said, yes, you should. The kid as talented as Naruto here should be able to come up with some interesting traps, being a seal master, and all. He turned, and saw the Kazekage with his arms crossed. A girl a little older than Naruto with a fan on her back looking pissed. A boy with makeup looking at his brother and father, and a red-headed boy who looked to be straining. Naruto bowed, and was panting a little like he ran for miles, and said, Kazuki-sama. Allow me to introduce some of the least finest. Hada Kakashi, Yuhi Kurenai, Mitarashi Enko, and Asuma Sarutobi. This is the Kazuki-age, and his family Tamari, Kankuro, and Gar. They bowed, and Naruto said, these are the 4 of the 5 I told you who knew about me no longer possessing Kyuubi. I trust them each with my life and trust. They could not help but feel a little respect from what Naruto said, but did not show it with who was in the room. Also the fact he was acting tired and worried. The fact the red-headed boy was also panting was something they were worried about. The Kazuki nodded, and said, I have discussed it with my family, and we are very interested in your proposal. I request that Tamari visit 1 week every 2 months, since the exams are only 5 months away, and she and her brothers both need to prepare. When she returns she will be with her brothers this time, so you can fix that problem. Also you should know that I agree with your secret, except, if you make it to the finals of the exam, you must use your true name. I want my daughter's suitor to be known for who he is, not a lie. Naruto said, I understand and agree, but my true name must remain a secret until that time. If Tamari decides she is in favor of this, then she is the one who will announce it first, as not to bind her to this deal, should she not wish this. The Kazuki said, fine. Until we meet again. A pleasure, as always, Hokage. And he walked out the door followed by his children. Naruto waited till they left the room, and fell to his knees. Everyone gasped or called out his name. Naruto was panting, and after a moment finally stood up. The Hokage asked, what happened? Naruto said, damn raccoon, and that fucking bastard. Asuma said, what do you mean? Naruto said, the red-hat boy. He's the vessel of the raccoon demon Shikaku. Even with Gaara fighting it, he was wanting to kill us all back there. I was having to channel energy into this room to keep the Kazuki from figuring out there is a limit to how I can control the demon. I could not remove the blockers I have on without having half the village bursting in here. I bet the fucking bastard actually had Gaara releasing the demons some to test me. That's why I was panting. Kakashi said, what exactly was that about? Naruto sat in a chair, and said, when I first came back I asked the old man here to arrange a political marriage with the Kazuki's daughter, and me. I never intend to force her into it. That's why I made those stipulations where it would be by her choice. When they arrived today I had a plan set up in case something like this comes, so I already knew what I was going to say. I bribed the bastard. Pure and simple. They said let's not forget you intimidated him, and also hinted that we knew about someone wanting to break relations with us, and our allies somewhat. Also you making yourself a slave was quite an act. Enko and Kurenai said what? Naruto said, the bastard is afraid of losing his village's secret weapon. Sure, the side of him that is a father would like to fix Gaara's problem, but the asshole never was a good father, so I offered him something to tempt his ego. The only person who has the power of a demon. Should the sealing go wrong then he would still have his so-called weapon. The third said, are you sure you can do the sealing? Naruto said, have before. I know enough about sealing to be a seal master. I lived enough times that I could make the seal that held Kyuubi look weak if I wanted to. That made everyone pale at the possibilities. Naruto looked at Kakashi, and said, did you really have to call me that during the team meeting? Kakashi looked up from his book, and said, yes, it's not like you can do anything to get even with me though. Enko said, what he calls you? Naruto said, bleach blonde dead last. And Kakashi, you underestimated me again. Kakashi said, why is that? Naruto said, I can make that book of yours not be released in Konoha if I wanted. Kurenai said, really, how? The third said, Naruto, you would do that. Naruto said, I will if he does that again. Kakashi, thinking it was a bluff, said, how can you be sure you can do that? Naruto said, like I told the Kazuki. Over the past few years I have made some investment, and I bought a few companies. One such company is the publisher of that book, Pervert. Kakashi paled, and said, you're joking, right? Naruto looked at Enko, and smirked before he said, Enko, my house is not on the ground. The third said, so what do we do now? Naruto said, proceed, as planned for now. When Tamari comes for her visits, make sure my team only has D-rank missions so I can talk to her, and get to know her, and her. If the council wants to know why you are letting me escort her around town, say that her father requested it. You have no idea why. Also better start planning on announcing my real name when the time comes. The third nodded, and Naruto said, is that all? Asuma said, I think Kurenai has something to say. Only to receive an elbow in the gut. Everyone looked at Kurenai after she hit him, and she said, I do need to say something, but later. I need to gather my thoughts. Naruto nodded, and said, say it tomorrow then Kakashi. Have fun. And disappeared in a swirl of flames. After Naruto was gone everyone looked at each other, and the third said, so what are you here for anyway? Kakashi said, I was going to tell Naruto when and where to meet tomorrow, but I guess he knows the secret of cage buncheons. Asuma said, Kurenai and I have already tested our teams, and they passed, so we just came to turn in the paperwork. Enko, who looked like she had been through hell, said, I saw Kakashi, and he said Gaki was here, so I came to talk to him to see if I could get any more info on where his house is. I believe it is in the western section furthest away from the village because that is where the traps I encountered were. The third said, "What kind of traps?" Then Ko said, "Anyone who did not know his way around would die if they tried to get through it. I lost 9 summons, and triggered nearly 200 traps in a 100-yard range." Asuma whistled, and said, "I'm glad he's on our side." Kurenai said, "I just hope the village does not do something to get us on his bad side. Imagine the earth and destruction that he could cause." The third nodded, and said, "Okay, let's call it a day. Thanks to our visitor I am behind on paperwork, so I need to get to work." Acting busy, as everyone started to leave. When they were gone, he pulled out his Icha paradise, and created 3 cage buncheons to do the paperwork.
That's it for today guys. I hope you enjoyed my video and see you in the next part of this video. Till then, sayonara.